Hi everyone, my name's Julie and the lovely team at Mesothelioma UK have very kindly asked me to put some really simple videos together with a few little exercise sequences, movement sequences to help keep you all going through this kind of period of self-isolation, very bizarre period. I'm a Pilates teacher, but also lost my own dad to mesothelioma 5 years ago. So I'm absolutely delighted to be able to put this little sequence or series of sequences together. I think we're calling them Meso Moves. Very first of its kind, this is a world exclusive. So please do follow along at home. They are very simple, very straightforward to do. You can do them by yourself. You need absolutely no equipment. If you're in the house with other people, feel free to get everybody or anyone involved that you see fit. Just a couple of things to point out before we kind of get moving. The most important thing of all is to listen to your own body. So everything that we'll do together, like I say, is straightforward. But if you do feel at any point unwell or become breathless or feel that it's just not quite working for you, please stop straight away and just take a rest. Also, you might want to we're not going to be doing anything strenuous, but it's always good practice just to have to hand a glass of water. It's really important that you just keep hydrated, so just take little sips every now and again as you need to. But like I say, there is nothing high intensity here. This is all kind of low impact stuff, so you shouldn't kind of feel too taxed or too stressed out or anything like that. I definitely don't do stressed out. So this first set of Meso Moves is going to all be done lying on our back. So for that, I've got a couple of things you might want to consider. I use a little head pillow that I just prop under my head when I'm lying down. You'll see that. You could use something similar if you have it at home, or a cushion also works, or a pillow as well from your bed also works. And if you don't have either of those, or you want something a little bit more robust, then please feel free to take a hand towel, just fold it a couple of times over just to give you that little bit of support through the back of the head. It just feels really nice on the spine as well. So for those of you who maybe don't know, Pilates is, like I say, low impact form of movement that trains the whole body and keeps you supple yet strong. That's probably the nicest way to describe it without going into too much detail. So with that said, got a little series for us to do in what we call the relaxation position. So pay heed to that. You are meant to relax in this position. So you're just gonna come on down to the floor, bring your pillow with you or your fold towel, pop it under your head. You don't have to have anything for your head at all, so don't feel like that's something you need. You absolutely don't. It just keeps a nice neutral or helps keep a nice neutral alignment with the spine. So just pop your head down. You're just going to come onto your back, and soles of the feet are on the floor. We are hip distance and parallel. The way to measure that, if you bring your legs together, you can heel toe your feet apart, and that is more or less hip distance and parallel. The back of the head is on the mat or on the floor or on your pillow. The back of your rib cage should be in contact with the floor, so you should feel nice and heavy, nice and supported. Your two hip bones here on either side of your pelvis should be nice and level, so you can take your hands, the heel of your hands, to your hip bones. Just have a little feel there. Make sure those hip bones are nice and even, and the shoulders as well relaxed down, so not up here, just relax everything down. Soles of the feet on the floor. We've got a nice bend in the knee. The heels should be quite close in towards your bum, so if you were to kind of lift your head up, tap down, you'd be able to touch your heel. So they're not way out here where it'd be kind of, your spine would be less stable. The heels are close into your bum, so they're giving you that nice bit of support for the spine, allowing the spine here just to drop down into the mat. Arms just nicely lengthened down by your side. Just spread your fingers, just rest the arms down, rest the whole body down. Important that your chin is in line with your breastbone. So sometimes if we're tight in the neck or tight in the shoulders, our chin extends up towards the ceiling. So we want to try and avoid that, as it shortens the neck. So try and just think of the neck nice and long on the pillow. You've got your nice cervical spine. So the little curve of the neck just here. And then the chin is in line with the breastbone. And like I say, the two hip bones are nice and even. So we have the little space between the floor and the mat, which is the nice little curve of your lumbar spine. And then the ribs, like I say, back of the ribs, nice and heavy on the mat. And from here, you just relax down. So you do not think about anything else other than just releasing and relaxing your spine down to the ground. So feel your friend gravity underneath you. He's just going to hold you whilst you allow your body to just be still. So try and relax here all the muscles around the hips. Try and relax the muscles around the glutes. Try and relax your hamstrings, your quads. Try and just bring a little bit of softness to the body. Make sure the shoulders are just relaxed down onto the floor. The muscles in the face nice and relaxed. So release the jaw. Try and relax a little space between the two eyebrows, and you're just gently melting down into the floor here, into your space, allowing everything to be nice and calm. And then from there, just releasing off a few of the kind of areas in the body where we might hold a little bit of tension. So all you're going to do is just float your arms up, the palms are facing in, and you're going to take a little breath in. And as you exhale, you're going to reach up as if you're grabbing something up off the ceiling. So the shoulder blades will come off the mat or off the floor. And then breathe in here. As you exhale, just release the shoulder blades nice and smooth back to the floor. So one more like that. Take a little breath in. And then exhale. And then reach up as if you're grabbing something or a light or something from above you. Shoulder blades come up off the floor. Keep the chin in line with the chest, and then just allow the shoulder blades to spread. Just let them widen. Feel the back of your ribs widen as the shoulder blades connect back down nice and heavy onto the mat. Good. And then from there, just float the arms back down and just relax again through the shoulders. From there, we're going to do a couple of chin tucks. So again, just trying to release the back of the neck. So all you're going to do is take a breath in, and then on your exhale, you're just going to keep your head in contact with the mat. You're just going to drop your chin down towards your chest. So there it feels a little bit restricted. You might feel like you've got a bit of a double chin, which is good. That's what we want. Stretch in the back of the neck here. So the head is still in contact with the flat, just with the mat, with the floor. You just pivot the head on the spine. And then just release it back up. Keep the shoulders nice and relaxed. Just do two more like that for me. Just drop the chin down towards the chest if you've got double chin now. And then releasing back up. And then same again, just drop chin down to chest. And then releasing back up. And then we're going to take the head the other way. So this time, take the chin up towards the ceiling. And then release it back down towards the breastbone. Nice and neutral, and then keep releasing the shoulders down into the mat. Let the shoulders melt down. All you're doing is just moving the head on the neck here. Chin up. And then all the way back down. Good. From there, we're going to take a couple of pelvic tilts. So thinking that your two hip bones should be nice and even here. So if you had a spirit level across your pelvis or a cup of tea balance where your belly button is, that tea would stay in the cup. That's what we mean by kind of neutral pelvis. And to take a little couple of, we're going to take a little couple of pelvic tilts. All you're going to do is tilt your pelvis, so flatten your back into the mat, and imagine that cup of tea is now spilling onto you. And then you're going to come back to neutral, so the two hip bones nice and even. And this time, you're going to roll the pelvis to increase the arch. So you're going to spill your cup of tea the other way. So down towards your pubic bone, you increase that arch in your lumbar spine. You might be able to see that there with me. And then you're going to come back to neutral, where the two hip bones are nice and even, your cup of tea is back level. And then we'll go the opposite way. So rolling the pelvis towards you, so your back flattens into the mat there, so my lumbar curve has gone. And then you're just going to come back to neutral, so that nice evenness across the pelvis. So 2 hip bones, if you were to place the heel of your hands, feel nice and even. And you can keep your hands here to feel what's happening through the pelvis. And then the opposite way, so you're dropping down towards your pubic bone, lumbar curve increases here. I can get my hand right under my spine here, and then back to neutral. So just a couple more like that, just flattening your back, coming back to neutral, and then rolling the pelvis down towards your pubic bone and back to neutral, where the 2 hip bones stay nice and even. And we try and keep the 2 hip bones nice and even here. And then arms just nice and relaxed back down by your side. From here, we'll do a couple of leg slides. So again, thinking about keeping that pelvis nice and neutral, so those 2 hip bones nice and even. What you're going to do is take a little breath in, keeping the upper body nice and relaxed, nice and stable. You're just going to slide your right leg in a straight line from the hip, out into a long line, and then you're just going to pull it all the way back to the start position. So trying to keep those hip bones as even as possible as the leg slides away. And then drawing the heel back in towards your bum. Couple more. Heel out. Keep the hip bones nice and level. Draw the heel back in. Keep the chin in line with the breastbone. Same on the other side. Keep that little arch, natural spine, natural curve in the lumbar spine. Opposite leg, back in. Opposite leg, back in. Good. So just mobilizing the hips here, getting a little bit of movement into your hips. Then from there, we're just going to float the arms up. So palms face in, and this time it's a similar thing. So just mobilizing the shoulders. So just make sure those shoulder blades are still in contact with the mat. So we're not away up here. The shoulder blades are nice and relaxed. We're just going to move from the shoulder joint here. And all you're going to do, keep the arms nice and active, nice and straight, in a straight line up from the shoulder. You're just going to take one arm back in a straight line with the shoulder, keep it up off the floor. So again, it's nice and active. And again, think of the ribs drawing down towards the pelvis. So not flaring up, they're just nice and connected, floating nicely on top of your hip bones here. Other arm just stays where it is. And then float that arm back up. Keep that shoulder blade in contact with the mat. Same with the other arm. So nice and smooth. This little movement from the shoulder joint. One more each side. Make sure the chin stays in line with the chest. So watch the neck doesn't tip up towards the ceiling. Stays nice and neutral. Keep drawing the ribs down on top of the pelvis as you send the arm back. And keep the arm up off the floor. So lengthen through the fingers, really lengthen, stretch out through the fingers. One more each side. Really nice. Keep the pelvis nice and neutral, so nice and quiet, nice and even with those 2 hip bones, and all the way back up. Good. This time we're going to try and marry up the arms and the legs. This is a little exercise called starfish. So the arms and the legs move at the same time, but in opposite directions. So I'll show you what I mean by that. So we take a little breath in. We exhale, and as we exhale, one leg goes forward, opposite arm goes behind. So same movements as before, we just join them up. Draw everything back to your start position. Same again, one arm goes back, so we're like a little toy soldier here. One arm comes back to center. So arm and leg moving opposite and back. We're trying to keep the spine nice and stable. You can think about drawing your belly button or drawing your abdominals down towards your spine to give you a little bit of support, and work the abdominals to keep the spine nice and quiet as you move. That'll help with that. Opposite arm, opposite leg. Good. And then one more each time. Lovely. From there, and flowing the arms back down, just taking a little moment just to check in with the spine. So we're still nice and neutral through the spine, nice and neutral with the neck. Everything feels kind of nice and released and relaxed, and we're just still letting gravity hold us as we work through our little sequence. From here, we're going to do little windmill arms, which again is really nice to move the arms in all of its directions. So you're just going to float the arms up. This time the palms face forward, and we're going to scissor the arms. So one arm goes down towards the side of the hip, one arm goes up overhead in line with the shoulder. From there, you're just going to circle the arms out, take them into like a T position, and then they're just going to continue on their little journey. So now your hands are in opposite directions, or positions, sorry, and then you're just going to come all the way back to your start position here. So same again, we're just windmilling the arms out and round, keeping nice and neutral, nice and quiet through the spine. Remember our pelvis, our cup of tea on our pelvis, we're balancing it so as we do not spill a drop. And up. This time we're going to switch directions. So just drop the arms in the opposite direction from each other. And back to center. Same, so 2 more here, just like this. The arms stay up, they're very active. You'll notice I'm not allowing them to kind of touch the floor here. They stay up, we lengthen, so we reach through the fingers, so we're going nice and long and tall, all the way back. And last one here. Neck stays nice and quiet, ribs stay nice and connected on top of the pelvis. And then we float the arms all the way back down. From here, we'll do a couple of hip rolls. So bring the feet and knees together this time. So we've come out of our hip distance, so our inner thighs are connected. The arms are just down on the floor. This time you can take them a little bit wider than the side of the hip, so take them a little bit wider. Going to take a little breath in, and then on the exhale, you're going to roll the knees using the abdominals to one side. So the feet stay connected, the top foot rolls off the floor on top of the other foot. You'll see that in a little minute when I roll to the other side. Back of the arms lightly pressing into the floor, but not too much. Think about this movement as coming from your obliques, so coming from your abdominals. Trying to lengthen around the side of the waist, try and keep the knees nice and even. If you look down, you should be able to see that. Take a nice stretch around the side of the body. So take a breath in here, you get a nice stretch in the ribs here around the side. And then exhale, and then come back to center. So again, this is moving the lumbar spine, getting a little bit of rotation, which is really nice if we're kind of sitting a lot or not doing as much movement as we are maybe used to, or as maybe as we would like to because of the current situation. And back to center. And then again. Just keeping it nice and slow. We always move nice and slow. It's always the quality of the move over how many you can do quickly. And you'll see here my top foot has rolled onto its little neighbour, but I'm keeping that connection between my inner thighs. If you have any doubt whether you are, or if you are struggling to keep that connection between your inner thighs, you can stick a cushion. So I could put a cushion in between, and then I would just have a nice squeeze on my inner thigh, and you can do the same thing there. And that forces you to keep the knees and the inner thigh connected. Again, think of this rotation. Take a breath in. When the knees are over, don't rush it. Breathe in, exhale. And then as you exhale, roll back to center. If you want to challenge yourself a little bit more, by all means, you can bring the arms up. The arms stay exactly where they are. Make sure the shoulder blades are plugged into the mat here. Take a little breath in, and then you can do your little hip rolls with the arms up. You're a lot less stable here, so you'll need more. You'll feel like your abdominals will need to work a whole lot more to control the movement. What you don't want to happen is for the knees to drop all the way to the floor, because then you're just really kind of hurting your low back. It's not really about that. It's about using the abdominals, using your oblique muscles to work the side of your body, yeah? And you're getting a lovely little bit of space, a lovely bit of rotation, movement through your lumbar spine here, which is really nice. Good. Float the arms all the way back down. This time we're going to come back to hip distance and parallel, so we just heel toe our feet apart from there. Nice and relaxed through the upper body. We're going to do a little march of the legs, a little single knee fold, sorry. So starting with the right leg, all you're going to do is float one leg up to stack. So we're looking for knee over your hip and a nice right angle here where the knee joins the thigh bone, and your shin is parallel to the floor. And then you take the foot all the way back down, dropping from the hip. So on the left side, just floating one leg up and floating it back down. Keep relaxed through the jaw, try and keep the shoulders down, melting all the time. Upper body melting down into the flat, into the mat. The lumbar curve is still there in the low spine, so remember we've got our cup of tea here. We're keeping our pelvis nice and level. Or if it helps, bottle of hand sanitizer in short supply.
definitely would want to be spilling that everywhere at the moment. So imagine a bottle of hand sanitizer just balanced on your pelvis. You've got to keep it nice and full. So use that as your incentive to keep those hip bones nice and level. And this now, just a little march above the legs. So thinking about the abdominals drawing down to support you. You can place your hands if you want to feel what's happening in your abdominals. They'll be working really hard as you lift your leg up. Taking it all the way back down, not spilling our hand sanitizer in any way, shape or form. You could make a lot of money trying to sell your hand sanitizer right now. Good. And down. And then one more here. And down. Always moving nice and slow and controlled, trying to keep that nice curve in the lumbar spine. If you are incidentally somebody that suffers from a bit of a low or any low back pain at all, instead of trying to keep that little curve in your back, you should, just to be careful and just to be safe, just take a little imprint of your spine into the mat. So where this would be neutral and I have my little curve, you would just tilt your pelvis like we did at the start to feel your low back come in contact with the mat. So now there is no gap between your back and the floor. Your back is fully in contact there. And then move from there. That just allows your spine to just be a little bit more protected, a little bit more supported if you are somebody that does tend to have a little bit of low back pain or a little bit of a fragile low back. So please do bear that in mind. Other than that, if you're okay, try and think about keeping that nice neutral spine and those two hip bones nice and even. Lovely. From there, we're going to try a couple of curl-ups. So if you are using a pillow behind your head, now would be the time to remove it. And instead, you're just going to make a little pillow with your hands. So you're going to bring your hands together. You're going to pop them behind your head, rest your head down, bring your elbows into your side vision. So they're not away out here, they're just up and in your side vision. You should just be able to see them. Then from here, you're going to take a little breath in. As you exhale, remember we did the chin tucks at the start. We're going to do the same thing here. Drop your chin down towards your chest as if you're grabbing an orange and holding it in place. Lift your head up, and then you're just going to start to curl up to look towards your thighs. Take a little breath in there, and then you just curl all the way back down. So now you're just thinking about mobilizing the spine from the top up. Drop the chin to chest so your neck is nice and lengthened. Wheel the spine up. So imagine you have a wheel on your spine and you are just letting that wheel bring you up and bring you down. Just be mindful, sometimes in this exercise the shoulders want to creep up towards the ears like this, so try and keep the shoulders down the back. Try and avoid that happening. Keep the elbows in the side vision so you'll know I'm not doing this. We keep nice and open, so our collarbone's always nice and open. And if you can, keep the ribs connected to your pelvis and keep the rib cage nice and flat. So just rolling up and rolling down. So using your abdominal connection here. Nice and smooth. There we go. Perfect. All the way back down. You can bring your pillow back now behind your head. You can let your legs slide out. You can let your legs, arms slide overhead. Take a big stretch this time. You can create space in your spine. You can let the ribs pop. Just having a nice morning stretch. Point your toes, lengthen out through your fingers. Roll your head from side to side in case there's any tension in the neck from doing your little curl ups. And that is your little sequence for the day. Feel free to do them as many times as you like throughout the course of the day. We're going to be posting a few more videos over the course of the week, or over the course of the weeks. So feel free to do these as much as you want. You cannot hurt yourself if you pay attention to everything that I've just said. Have fun, enjoy it, keep yourself mobile, guys. I know it's horrible to be stuck in the house, we're all in the same boat, but try and keep the spirits high. If you enjoyed it, let me know. If you have any requests, let me know. Like I say, loads more coming your way. So yeah, stick with it, guys. You're doing great. So love.